I'm sorry for that, for your sake. I don't play accurately. Anyone can play accurately, but I play with wonderful expression. Where the piano is concerned, sentiment is my forte. Keep a science for life.
Yes, sir.
And speaking of the science of life, have you got those cucumber sandwiches prepared for Auntie Gusto?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Oh, Lane, I noticed in your book, last Tuesday when Lord Shawman and Mr. Worthing were over for dinner, 8 bottles of champagne are having been consumed?
Yes, sir. 8 bottles and a pint.
Why is it that at a bachelor's establishment, the servants invariably drink the champagne? I ask merely for information.
I attribute it to the superior quality of the wine, sir. I've realized that in married households, champagne is really a first-rate brand.
Oh, good heavens, is marriage so demoralizing as that?
I believe marriage is a pleasant state, sir. I was married once, but that was a consequence between a misunderstanding between myself and a young person.
I don't know that I'm much interested in your family life, eh?
Neither am I, sir. It's not a very interesting topic.
Very well. That will be all, Lane. You may go.
Yes, sir.
I must say, Lane's views on marriage seem somewhat lax. Really, if the lower orders cannot be counted on to provide us with a good moral example, what on earth is the use of them? They seem as a class to have no sense of social responsibility.
Mr. Earnest Worthing?
Ah, Ernest, how are you? What brings you up to town?
Oh, pleasure, pleasure. What else would bring one anywhere? Eating as usual, I see, Algy.
I believe it is customary among civilized society to take some slight refreshment at 5 o'clock. Where have you been since last Thursday?
In the country.
Oh, what on earth do you do there?
When one is in town, one amuses oneself. When one is in the country, one amuses other people. It is excessively boring.
And who does one amuse?
Oh, neighbours, neighbours.
Got nice neighbours in your pot of Shropshire.
Perfectly horrid. Never speak to one of them.
How immensely you must amuse them. By the way, Shropshire is your country, is it not?
Yeah? Shropshire. Yes, of course. Hello. Why all these cups? Why are they cooking sandwiches? Why is it so reckless extravagance in one so young? Who's coming to tea?
Oh, here they are, Augusta.
Here.
And Gwendolyn.
How perfectly delightful.
Yes, but I'm afraid Aunt Augusta won't quite approve of your being here.
And may I ask why?
My good man, the way you flirt with Gwendolyn is perfectly disgraceful. It's almost as bad as the way Gwendolyn flirts with you.
My dear fellow, I'm in love with Gwendolyn. I cooked in town expressly to propose to her.
I thought you said you'd come up for pleasure. I call that business. I don't see anything romantic about proposing. I mean, it's perfectly romantic to be in love, but there's nothing romantic about a definite proposal. Why, one may be accepted. One usually is, I believe. And then the excitement is all over. No, the essence of romance is uncertainty. If ever I am married, I shall certainly do my best to forget the fact.
No, that, dear Algy. The divorce courts were specifically invented for people whose memories are so curiously constituted.
Oh, it's no use arguing about the subject. Divorces were made in heaven. Please don't touch the goby sandwiches. They were ordered especially for Aunt Augusta.
Well, you've been eating them this whole time.
That was quite a different matter. She's my aunt. Have some bread and butter. The bread and butter for Gwendolyn, she's devoted to bread and butter.
And very good bread and butter it is too.
Yes, well, you needn't go out as if you were going to eat at all. You act as if you were married already. You aren't married already, and I don't think you ever will be.
Why on earth do you say that?
Well, in the first place, girls never marry the men they flirt with. I don't think you're right.
What on earth?
Oh, and of course, it is very true. It accounts for the extraordinary number of bachelors. One sees all over the place. In the second place, I don't give my consent.
Your consent?
My good man, Gwendolyn is my first cousin. And before I can allow you to marry her, we must clear up this question of Cecily.
What do you mean by Cecily? Who do you mean by Cecily? I don't know anyone of the name of Cecily.
Could you please bring out the cigarette case that Mr. Worthing left in the smoking room last time he was here?
Yes, sir.
You mean to say you've had my cigarette case this whole time? I wish to goodness you'd let me know. I've been writing frantic letters to Scotland Yard about it. I was very nearly offering a large reward.
Well, I wish you would offer one. I haven't been more than usually hard up.
Well, there's no good offering a large reward now. The thing's found.
I must say that is rather mean of you, Ernest. However, it makes no matter. For now I read the inscription, I find the thing isn't yours after all.
Of course it's mine. I've seen it 1,000 times. Give it to me, Algy.
It's not what the inscription says.
It's a very intimate thing to read a private cigarette case.
Oh, it's absurd to have a hard and fast rule about what one should and shouldn't read. Half of modern culture depends on what one shouldn't read.
I don't propose to discuss modern culture with you. This isn't the sort of thing one should talk of in private.
Yes, well, in any case, it's clear this isn't your cigarette case. For you said that you aren't acquainted with anyone by the name of Cecily, and this appears to be a gift from someone by that name.
Well, if you want to know, Cecily happens to be my aunt.
Your aunt?
Charming old lady lives at Country Welsh. Just give it back to me, Algy.
But if Miss Cecily is your aunt, who lives at Tunbridge Wells, why does she call herself Little Cecily? From Little Cecily, with her fondest love.
What's there in that? Some aunts are tall, some aunts are not tall. Surely that's a matter in aunt to be allowed to decide for herself. You seem to think that every aunt is exactly like your aunt. That is absurd.
Yes, but why then does she call you her uncle? From Little Cecily, with her fondest love, to her dear Uncle Jack. There is no objection, I admit, to an aunt being a small aunt, but why an aunt, no matter her size, should call her nephew or uncle, I can't quite make out. Besides, your name isn't Jack at all, it's Ernest.
It isn't Jack. I mean, it isn't Ernest, it's Jack.
You told me it was Ernest. I've introduced you to everyone by Ernest. You answered the name of Ernest. You look as if your name was Ernest. You're the most earnest-looking person I know. It's on your cards. Here's one. Mr. Ernest Worthing, before the Albany West. I shall keep this as proof your name is Ernest, and if ever you attempt to deny it, to me, to Gwendolyn, or to anyone else.
Well, if you have to know, my name is Jack in the country, and Ernest in town. And the cigarette case was given to me in the country. Now, can I give it to me here, now?
Yes, but that does not explain why your little Aunt Cecily, who lives in Tunbridge Wells, calls you her uncle. Come on, boy, you much better have the whole thing out at once. I must admit, I've always suspected you of being a confirmed and secret Bunburyist, and sure of it now.
My dear fellow, you talk exactly as if you were a biomajor, having things out and all. It's very bold of you to a biomajor.
Yes, well, biomajors do always produce a false impression. Now go on.
But what's a Bunburyist?
I will reveal to you the meaning of that incorporeal expression as soon as you are kind enough to inform me why you're Ernest in town and Jack in the country.
Well, produce my cigarette case first.
Here you are. Now produce your explanation, and pray make it improbable.
My dear fellow, there's nothing improbable on my explanation at all. It's perfectly ordinary, in fact. Old Mr. Thomas Cardew, who adopted me as a little boy, who adopted me when I was a little boy, he was quite an older man at the time, gave me the name of Worthing, and made me in his will guardian to his granddaughter, Miss Cecily Cardew, who addresses me as uncle, for modes of respect that you could not possibly appreciate.
Yes, but that doesn't explain why your name is Ernest in town and Jack in the country. Now come on.
Well, when one is in town, one has to amuse people. I mean, I tend to amuse myself, and it's enjoyable, but so I made a name of Ernest in order to get up to town and enjoy myself. See, I made up this younger brother by the name of Earnest, and I'm pretending to be at present, and he gets into those dreadful scrapes and has the most delightful fun, whereas Jack's stuck in the country, not so happy. That's why I made up the name. That's the whole truth, pure and simple.
The truth is rarely pure and never simple. Modern culture would be quite tedious if it were, and modern literature a complete impossibility.
That wouldn't be a bad thing at all.
Oh, don't try literary criticism. It's not your forte. You should leave that to people who haven't been at university. They do it so well in the daily papers. Now, know what you are is a Bunburyist. I knew you were a Bunburyist. In fact, you're one of the most advanced Bunburyists I know.
Still haven't told me what a Bunburyist is.
You have invented a very useful younger brother named Earnest, so that you may come up into town whenever you please. I have devised an invaluable permanent invalid called Bunbury, so that I may go into the country whenever I choose. Bunbury is perfectly indispensable. Why, if it weren't for Bunbury, I wouldn't be able to dine with you at Willis's tonight, for I've been really engaged on Augusta for over a week.
I haven't asked you to dine with me anywhere tonight.
I know, you're perfectly careless about sending out invitations. Nothing annoys people so much as not receiving an invitation.
You'd much better dine with your Aunt Augusta.
Oh, I most certainly will not. In the first place, I dine with her on Monday, and once a week is quite enough to dine with one's own relative. In the second place, whenever I go there, I'm always treated as a member of the family, and sent down either with no woman at all, or two. Besides, I know exactly what should place me tonight. Aunt Augusta will set me next to Mary Farquhar, who always flirts with her husband across the dinner table. That is not very pleasant. Indeed, it's not even decent. And that sort of thing is immensely on the rise in London these days. The amount of women who flirt with their husbands in public is perfectly disgraceful. It just looks so bad. It's simply washing one's clean linen in public.
I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure about you either.
Anyway,
What's going on? Besides, I'm not Bunbury at all. I really don't agree with that. See, if Gwendolyn accepts me, I'm going to kill my brother. In any case, I think I'll kill him anyways. My Cecily, darling. Oh, sorry, you don't know who she is. Miss Cardew is too much interested in him.
Well, Cecily would be your ward, of course, when you were speaking about it.
Yes, my ward.
She seems a little bit too much interested in him, does she?
Very much so.
Yes, well, if you're ever married, and that seems to be extremely problematic, you should be very glad to know Bunbury.
That is nonsense.
Oh, really? Well, if you ever marry Gwendolyn, and I'm sure she's the only one who ever could imagine yourself marrying, I'm sure that you're thinking right now, oh, I shall simply do away with Bunbury, I shan't need him at all. But the fact is, even if you don't want him, your wife will. You seem to be forgetting that in marriage, 3 is company and 2 is none.
My dear young friend, that is a theory that Christian drama has been propounding for the last 50 years.
Yes, and the happy English home is brewed to half the time.
Ah, don't try to be cynical. It's perfectly easy to be cynical.
It's not easy to be anything nowadays. There's such a lot of beastly competition about it.
Well. Is that... No, it's not. It's kind of dumb.
A moment, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Ah, that must be Aunt Augusta. All predators ever ring in that Wagnerian manner. Now, if I get her out of the way for a few minutes so that you may propose to Gwendolyn, will you dine with me tonight?
I suppose so, if you want to.
Yes, but you must be serious about it. I hate people who are not serious about meals. It's so shallow of them.
Lady Bracknell and Miss Fairfax.
Good afternoon, dear Algernon. I hope you are behaving very well.
I'm feeling quite well, Aunt Augusta.
That's not quite the same thing. In fact, the two things rarely go together.
Ah, Gwendolyn, you're looking peachy today.
I always look quite a peach. Thank you, Algernon. Do I not, Mr. Worthing?
You are quite smart. And perfect, Miss Fairfax.
Oh, I hope I'm not that. Perfection leaves no room for developments, and I intend to develop in many directions. I am sorry we are late, dear Algernon, but I had to call on poor Miss Harbury. And she looks quite altered since her husband's death. In fact, she looks quite 20 years younger. Now, I would like some tea and those cucumber sandwiches you promised me.
Lane, good heavens, where are the cucumber sandwiches? I had them ordered, especially for Aunt Augusta.
There are no cucumbers in the market today, sir. I checked twice.
No cucumbers. No cucumbers.
No, sir. Not even for ready money.
Very well, then. That will do.
Thank you, sir.
Aunt Augusta, I'm very distressed that there were no cucumbers in the market today, especially for ready money.
It really makes no matter, Algernon. I had some crumpets with Lady Harbury, who seems to me to be living entirely for pleasure now.
Yes, I hear her hair has turned white gold from grief.
It certainly has changed its color. From what cause I, of course, cannot say. May I have some tea?
Ah, yes, of course.